Hey Bookworms, it's me Amanda. Today I'm here with a tag that I made up myself and it's called the Fangirl/Fanboy Tag. I feel like there was another tag existing out there with this name, but I couldn't find it when I googled it, so this is the name that I chose for it. If there is a tag out there that already has this name, will someone kindly let me know so I can change the name, because I don't want to be infringing on somebody else's copyright or anything. Copyright, quotey fingers. But anyway, I just made up a list of 12 questions all about being a fangirl/fanboy. For this purpose, I'm just going to call it being a fangirl because I'm a girl, and probably a lot of you guys watching it are going to be girls as well, but just know that it's for fanboys too, obviously. But I'm just going to go ahead and get into the questions. They'll be down below in case any of you want to answer them in the comments on YouTube or on Instagram. I would love to see your responses, so let me know if you decide to do it. But I'm just going to go ahead and give you my answers to the questions. Number 1, what are your top 5 fandoms, the fandoms that you love the most? My top 5 right now are, in no particular order, the Percy Jackson / Heroes of Olympus fandom, the Mortal Instruments, the Infernal Devices, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. Those are my 5 fandoms. Number 2, what are your OTPs, your one true pairings? My OTPs are Jason and Raina, Percy and Annabeth, Luke and Thalia, oh my gosh, and Jason, Clary, Alec and Magnus. I hardcore ship those two. Simon and Isabel. I really do ship the Doctor and Rose. The 10th Doctor and Rose, I think. Although the 9th Doctor and Rose was pretty cute too, I don't know. And I do ship the 11th Doctor and Amy, but I also ship Rory and Amy. It's really confusing. And in Sherlock, I don't really know. I think I ship Sherlock and Molly, and I haven't seen season 3 yet, so don't spoil anything for me, please. But I did see something on Tumblr that said that they kissed, so I'm hoping that means there's going to be a relationship somewhere in there, because I really, really want to see that. Number 3, what do you think of mashup names like Clace, Percabeth, Malec, stuff like that? I'm not a fan of ship names. I don't know why. I just rather say, like, instead of Percabeth, I like to say Percy and Annabeth, and I don't know why. It just seems sort of weird to me. Like, I've always been sort of like a proper person, so I like using their names. I don't know why. It's nothing against you guys if you use ship names. Like, that's totally fine. Like, you go ahead. It's my personal preference, and I don't know why. I've just always been like a very proper sort of person, so I just like to have things have their proper name, I guess. I don't know why I do what I do. Just roll with it, y'all. Just roll with it. Number 4, do you have a Tumblr? Are you part of any fandoms on Tumblr? Yes, I have a Tumblr. It will be linked below. Yes, I'm a part of a lot of fandoms on there. I mostly do Percy Jackson, Kane Chronicles, some of that, Mortal Instruments, Infernal Devices, Sherlock, Supernatural, Star Wars, Doctor Who, basically any other fandom that crosses my path. I do occasionally reblog fandoms that I have no part in whatsoever. Like, I've posted stuff from Game of Thrones before, even though I've never seen Game of Thrones before, because just the lines are so good. But those are the main fandoms that I'm in. This is kind of all over the place, I'm sorry. Number 5, what is your opinion on fanfiction and the people that write it? Fanfiction. Okay, so fanfiction is something that I do write, in case you guys didn't know that. I am a fanfiction author. I've been writing since I was 13, so almost 3 years. And I think fanfiction is really cool. Like, it's really nice to practice your writing skills on characters and settings that have already been pre-established for you. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so lame, like you're stealing off of somebody else's characters, but in my opinion you're not, because it's no different than covering a song that somebody else has written, or painting something or drawing something from a photograph. It's no different than that in my opinion, so I think that fanfiction is totally cool. I love writing it. As to the people that write fanfiction, I think they're awesome. They're so creative. You have not believed the amount of fanfictions I've seen that have taken these characters and put them in a whole different new setting that I never would have thought of, and it is the coolest thing ever. I love reading fanfiction, if it's done tastefully. Granted, there are a lot of fanfictions that are not done tastefully, and they're not written well, and I feel like all of those fanfictions have given us authors a bad rap. But I promise that there are some fanfictions out there that are great, they're phenomenal, and I've made a lot of friends on fanfiction, and I love them all to death. And I think fanfiction is a really, really cool place. It's a really cool thing to write. It's really awesome to meet new people, and you can fangirl with them. You have the basis of fandoms, and there's nothing really better in my opinion, so I'm all for fanfiction, heck yes. Number 6, are you a loud, hyper fangirl or more of the quiet ones? I'm somewhere in between, honestly. If you guys know me in person, or even if you don't, you might pick this up, but I'm not a very loud, obnoxious, hey, notice me person. However, in fandoms, I will freak out and fangirl. When I'm at home, when I'm out of the house, I don't really do that much stuff. I'm kind of quiet, but when I'm in the house, like by myself or with my sister and my family, I will be a loud, crazy, hyper fangirl, and you do not want to get in my way. So one time, I was in my mom's room with my sister, and she's got a TV in her room, and I was lying on the bed watching Sherlock for the first time. I was watching the Reichenbach Fall, and these are spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen the show, then fast forward. But I was watching the Reichenbach Fall, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and because nobody would tell me. Like, I saw on Tumblr that something happened, but for some reason I managed to avoid all the spoilers, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And so then I got to the part where Sherlock was standing on the roof and he was on the phone. The major spoilers ahead, guys, so watch out. He was standing on the roof and he was on the phone with John. And I'm just standing there like, wait, is he actually going to do it? Like, is he actually going to jump off the roof? And so then when I thought he was like going to like back down, like not actually do it, like just like pretend to jump and fake his death or something, which he did end up doing. I just don't know how. But when he actually fell and like hit the ground, I was like, oh my gosh, and I like sat both. I was like, what? And my sister's half asleep next to me. Like she was asleep. And she's like, what happened? And I'm like, you missed it. He fell off a building. So I did like kind of freak out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, that whole episode was so emotional, you guys. I just watched it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, the feels are back. So I can't wait for season 3 to hit Netflix. I don't have like cable or anything, so I can't watch BBC America, which sucks. But I'm really, really hoping that it gets on Netflix really soon because I really want to see it, and I'm dying to know how Sherlock got out of it. But okay, spoilers are over. Number 7, what did you think of your fandom/fandoms book to movie adaptation? Okay, here we go, guys. So, first of all, let's start with the Percy Jackson movies. No, guys, come on. You could have done so much better. The books were perfect the way they were. Come on, guys, really? I will say this, though, as movies, if you ignore the fact that they were book-to-movie adaptations, if you ignore that fact, the movies were phenomenal, in my opinion. Like, they had great acting, great casting, great effects, great everything. Like, they were fantastic. I loved them as movies, especially me being, like, I'm sort of a film nut, so, like, I like camera angles and special effects and all that stuff. I'm sort of a movie nut, so I loved the movie. As a book-to-movie adaptation, I'm sorry, but I call The Lightning Thief the Abomination for a reason. Like, actually, I don't know why, but I bought the DVD of it just because I like it as a movie, I guess. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch The Abomination. And my sister knew what I was talking about, so did my mom. So The Sea of Monsters was a little bit better. I did appreciate the fact that they attempted to make some reconciliation for all the stuff they screwed up. You know, like they made Annabeth's hair blonde and all this stuff. But they screwed up the friggin' Great Prophecy. Like, how do you do that? Like, why? I don't understand. Why would you do that? I just don't know. Okay, City of Bones was great in my opinion. I do wish they had given a bit of the characters more screen time. They'd got a little bit more involved in backstories and stuff, but come on, it's only like a 2-hour-long movie. Like, for what they did put in, they did fantastic. I really enjoyed that movie actually a lot more than I thought I would. I was a little wary going into the theater because it's like, crap, this is going to be like lame adaptation. Like, Percy Jackson was just running through my head, and I was like, this is gonna suck. And then I was watching it, and I was like, oh, hey. And I did end up watching it. I've watched it 4 times to date. I saw it twice in the theaters, and I owned it, and I've already watched it twice. I'm gonna watch it again soon, I think. But the casting especially, I loved it. Like, for me, the casting is like one of the most important parts, because if they don't look the part, you can't expect them to act the part. Jamie Campbell Bower was amazing as Jace. Like, he was really, really good. He delivered the lines with such aplomb, and I love that they actually put, like, Jace's snarky one-liners in there. I was like, way to go! And there were a lot of actual lines from the books, which was amazing. I love that so much. And then Godfrey Gao as Magnus. I appreciated that so much. He was exactly how I pictured Magnus. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but in my opinion, he's exactly how I pictured Magnus. Okay, number 8. Which fictitious characters do you have a crush on / ship yourself with? I don't really do that sort of thing. I'm just kind of a realistic person, I guess, so it's not, like, something that I do. But I have had people tell me, I had someone tell me a while ago they shipped me with Nico, and then I had somebody on Tumblr yesterday tell me that they shipped me, they did, like, a three ship thing, like, they looked at my blog and told me, like, which 3 fandoms, and then someone they shipped me with in each fandom. And so for Percy Jackson, they did ship me with Nico. They did Doctor Who, and they shipped me with the 11th Doctor, which is hilarious because actually I'm a lot like Matt Smith, like his portrayal of the Doctor, which is really weird. And then they did Mortal Instruments, and apparently they shipped me with Sebastian / Jonathan Morgenstern. And I was just sitting there like, guys, you realize he's evil, right? I'm the least likely person to be evil, but whatever. I don't even know, guys. I've stopped asking. Number 9. What books / TV shows / movies have changed your life and how? Okay, I'm going to start from when I was little and work my way up. The very first thing would be Star Wars. I watched Star Wars when I was 10. I watched the original trilogy first, and then I watched the the prequels when I was a little bit older because my mom and dad thought they would be more graphic, so they didn't want me to watch it. But, let me think. I haven't seen them in forever, but when I was 10, that was the first grown-up movies that I was allowed to watch. I was only allowed to watch kids' movies before that, and I felt really grown up and mature because I got to watch, big people movies. But Star Wars really excited my imagination. It was really fascinating to me, this new genre of sci-fi, and it just got me thinking, this is there's an infinite possibilities of new characters and new worlds, and everything was just so fascinating to me. I don't know why, but Star Wars sort of got my imagination going. My sister and I would role play as characters and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And those movies sort of got me thinking, and they actually got me starting to write about things, I guess they technically could be fan fictions. I don't have any of them now, but I would write about the characters. I'd make up my own and on my own scenarios and stuff, and they definitely, those movies definitely excited my imagination, and they kind of introduced me to the fact that, hey, you can write, especially writing it, you can write something just for fun, it doesn't have to be for school. And so I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but Star Wars definitely did excite my imagination, and it started making me into more of a fangirl, which is obviously who I am today. My adolescent years in middle school, the book series that changed my life was the Percy Jackson series. I started reading them when I was in 7th grade. I was 12. I was the same age as Percy in The Lightning Thief, and at the time that I had read them, I think The Last Olympian had just come out, and I had a penchant for ripping through books really fast. I would read really fast with really good comprehension, so I remember having to wait for 50, I was number 55 in the queue for The Last Olympian at my library. But anyway, when I started reading the books, I was the same age as Percy, and I could relate to his thoughts on being an outcast and being different, because at that point in my life, I was in a place where basically I was ostracized. I don't know why, but everybody my age, literally overnight, decided they didn't like me. So I felt kind of alone, and then also I have, Percy and all the demigods have ADHD and dyslexia, and that's their hurdle they have to overcome. I do have some physical health hurdles of my own to overcome, and it's a long story. I'm not going to get into that, but if you want me to do a different video on it, I will. It's not a big deal. I don't mind talking about it. It's just a really long story. We don't have time for it in this video, but it kind of showed me, because to me, the theme of all his books are, even though you might have, a bad past, you might not be the healthiest person, you might be screwed up somehow, because everybody is, you can still be a hero, and you can still make a difference, and you can still change things. And those books kind of gave me hope, and they kind of encouraged me in growing up. And I'm going to get really sad, I think, when the Blood of Olympus comes out, because that's the last book, and Percy's adventures are over. And I will have started the books when I was 12 along with them, and I will end them when I'm 16, and they will all be 16, 15 to 17, I guess. And to me, that's the end of my childhood, because the Percy Jackson books were my childhood, and I can't ever thank Rick enough for those books, because they really did help me. I remember hiding out in an office with my mom who was doing paperwork, and I would just sit there curled up on the chair reading The Lightning Thief. And there was this quote. It was if my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself. And I was just sitting there, and I literally stopped and thought about that quote for 10 minutes, and I was like, he's right. I need to stop hiding, and I need to just get out and face the music, and if people don't want to be my friends, then fine, that's their loss. So those books really did help me, and I can't thank Rick enough for what he did in writing those books, because he encouraged his son in those stories, and he encouraged me too, and so that's really meaningful to me. Those books, on a happier note, those books did actually help in the common ground finding of who's now my boyfriend. He was my best friend, my best guy friend, and we bonded over Percy Jackson, and then at camp, himself, his other friend, my sister and I all assigned ourselves characters, and my boyfriend is Percy, my sister was Thalia, and then I got slated as Annabeth, which was painfully ironic considering what happened, but anyway, that's a happy thing. Young adult wise, from like my teen years, 13 on, actually no, starting now, I guess. Now would be Mortal Instruments books have really made a difference in not how I see the world so much, but as what I aspire to be. Cassandra Clare's writing is amazing, and I love writing so much. I can't make a career out of it because it's not very stable, but I love writing, and so reading her books was like, this is what I aspire to be, like, I want to write like this, and so they kind of encouraged me, like, step up your game, Amanda, you can do it, like, just, it's possible to write that well, and so those books have kind of opened my horizons, and they've definitely helped me improve as a writer. Number 10, has your personality changed since you got involved in fandoms? I think it has, actually. I feel like I'm a little bit more hyper about my fandoms. I think that I'm definitely more imaginative, but I can't really pinpoint it, but I know my personality's changed. Before I got involved in fandoms, I was just boring. I was a very boring person, but fandoms were like, they're my niche. Like, I'm in the fandoms, I know what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing, and that's just kind of who I am. So I think fandoms have changed me, I just don't know how. When I do, I'll get back to you guys on that. Number 11, what are the book quotes that you will always remember? Like I said before, if my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself. That one definitely is something that I will remember. There was one at the end of Harry Potter, the last sentence of the last book, all is well. That, it's gonna sound lame, but that really stuck with me just because it's such a final sentence. All is well, and at the end of my life, I want to be able to say that, because in my life, not all is well. And I don't think anything will, like, not all will not be well until you're dead, because, like, this world isn't perfect. But that quote really stuck with me. There was another one, I just read it. It was from The Phantom Menace, by Terry Brooks, and it just said, what was it? I'm just gonna get it right. I'll put it in words down here if I got it wrong, but, it was, so he smiled, but he was sad in spirit and lost at heart. And that kind of, I like sad quotes, I know. I think that quote really stuck with me because it reminded me that, I like to read really deep into quotes, but it reminded me that, if people are smiling, it doesn't necessarily mean they're happy. You can smile and you can feel lost and adrift and sad and alone, and even if you are, even if you look joyful to the world and there's not a trace of sadness on your face, it's still there, buried deep down. And especially thinking of the character of Anakin, that was the quote that was written about him, that was about Anakin. Like, he faked everything so well, but then at the end of the day it didn't matter because he went evil and psycho. So definitely I think that is a really good quote. And then there's one more. There's tons more, but of course I can't remember them now, go figure. But there's one, it's actually from a poem, actually there's two, I lied. One is from a poem by Emily Dickinson, and it says, I'm nobody, who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us, don't tell, they'd banish us, And I didn't say it very well, I'm sorry, but I'll write it down. To me, it's just true. I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm a nobody, but two nobodies meet and maybe together they can become somebody. The last quote, there's actually two from the Infernal Devices, and one of them is, if nobody cares about you at all, do you really even exist? And that just stuck with me because it's like, I got philosophical about this quote, you don't exist. There's a difference between living and existing. To me, living is like you're going through the motions, your heart is pumping, your brain is thinking, your blood is moving, but existing means that even after you die, you're going to leave an impression on somebody. It's like casting a shadow in Egyptian mythology. When you die, you still cast a shadow in how you impacted people around you. And so, if nobody cares about you, if you never made a difference in anyone, then you don't exist. And so I kind of got philosophical on that. And the last quote is life is a book and there are 1,000 pages that I have not read, which is very true because sometimes I feel like my life is hopeless. Like, it's just, you know, like, nothing's ever gonna get better, my life is crap, like, nothing is good. But then I just have to remember, like, I've got all these good things to be thankful for. And life is a story, and it doesn't matter about the end, it just matters about the story. I mean, the end is great, but at the end, there's no more pages to read, and then you're stuck wondering, like, you know, what am I going to do with my life now? If you're a fangirl, you can relate to this. You get to the end of the book, and you're just like, what am I going to do now? But it's about the story, not so much about the end. And so that just kind of reminded me, and I'm sorry for getting all philosophical on y'all. I know that's probably not why you came to this video, but those are my opinions. It's truth, yo. Last one, number 12. What would you say to a brand new fangirl/boy? First of all, welcome! I'm sorry in advance for all the emotional scarring my fandom's going to cause you. Oh no, but seriously, I am going to say that. The second thing I would say is, don't get so freaking defensive, okay? If you don't ship the same pairing as another person, it's fine. If you don't like a certain character but everybody else does, it's fine. You're entitled to your own opinions, your own preferences. You can interpret the books however the heck you want. Just remember that it's not everybody's opinion and it doesn't have to be. You don't have to go nuts about it, okay? I'm just saying, like, just don't make a lot of people's mistakes. Just don't freak out, okay? Everybody, the fandom is supposed to be fun. The only thing we should be crying about is when a character dies. We shouldn't be crying about mean things that our fellow fans have said to us. So just keep that in mind. And most of all, have fun! Let your imagination run wild! These fandoms are really, really cool. And again, prepare to be emotionally scarred, because that's part of lots of fandoms, and in advance, I'm very sorry. So that was it for my fangirl/fanboy tag. Feel free to answer my questions in the comments or on Instagram or on a blog or anything. I would love to see them, and I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very long video. Please leave comments below with anything you'd like me to do, because I'm running out of ideas. I am thinking about doing a live stream sometime. I don't know if any of y'all would actually, like, come, but I am planning on doing a live stream, so more information will be on that if I actually do it, if people will want to come. So, yeah, as far as all that goes, links are all in the description. As usual, don't forget to subscribe and share this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!